And we believe one of the best decisions we made was getting the right people on board. And because getting wrong people on board can kill your business.
Yeah, that's amazing. When you say a big leap forward, so you went from working in the office for like four desks, doing everything yourself. What were the steps? Break it down to where you are now. How did that look? And
I'll try and narrow this down because there's quite a lot of challenges and steps. So we're a venture-backed company. So what that means is we've had outside capital that's enabled us to grow at each stage. And that doesn't come without its own stress and difficulties. Raising funds probably takes away from going about your day-to-day business. But what that allows you to do is put the right people in the right positions. And we believe one of the best decisions we made was getting the right people on board. Because getting wrong people on board can kill your business.
And how did you, first of all, know that was so important? And how did you decide who were the right people?
Do you know what, I'd like to turn around and say we knew that was exactly what we were looking for, but I think we had a bit of emotional intelligence when building a business, and it happened. We had a few early adopters, so we brought on, after our first small funding round, we brought on a couple of people we knew within the market. So one being Emma and Chaz, shout them out, they are fantastic. They've been with us since day one. And they really built the foundations of the mortgage team.
Got it.
Along with one of our team leaders, Thomas. And it was just having the right people around us. We spoke about people that we'd worked with before, or people that we knew had an aligning vision with us. And I think what they bought into was the vision that we had. And the vision was to put our customers first, build a strong unit economic business that can sustain and grow within a market. Because at that point, obviously 2020, we launched pre-COVID. We didn't know what was going to happen in 2-3 years' time. We thought we've launched a platform for mortgages. In actual fact, everybody was sat at home looking at mortgages. So we were getting lots of applications. So post that, someone asked us the other day, how many offices have you had? We've had around about 10 offices that we've step-stoned up to. And every time we got an office, we thought, this will last us a year. It'll last about 3-4 months, unfortunately. So first office, Business Bay. And then we were just plugging the gaps within the business. So each stage of growth, each amount of capital that we could allocate was about plugging gaps. So it would be tech first, and then getting somebody in for marketing, for example. One of our first marketing hires, Mo, fantastic, came from Property Finder, knew the market, understands how to acquire that type of business. Still with us today as well. Our turnover is very, very low. I'd like to think that's because of the culture that we've created. Not a company that has a culture written on the wall. It's a case of it's ingrained in what people we do. And just plugging those gaps. And as we've done that, it's allowed me and Aaron, for example, to start taking a step back from certain decisions and kind of looking wider. So one of the wider visions for us is to continue our growth within this market, but also start looking at other territories. So we recently built an office in Saudi. We've got a team of 6 in Saudi at the moment. Amazing market. I don't know if you've been across. Amazing opportunity. The people are fantastic. Reminds me of Dubai 10-15 years ago. I still get that feel when I go over that. Really? This is a huge opportunity.
And it's become freehold now, some areas, or still leased?
Not necessarily freehold, but you still have the opportunity to buy as an expat. But it's a completely different market. Here we've got 10% locals, 90% expats. Over there it's 90% locals, 10% expats. So it's more like a UK economy rather than a UAE economy. So it'd be a different style of marketing, different demographic we'll be going after, but still the same ethos of we want to be the people that provide the best service for people buying homes, and providing that transparent, clear digital journey, as well as that white glove service from start to finish.
How much, obviously, so Saudi, how far in advance are you planning? Are you looking at 5 years, 10 years? Have you got like a full roadmap of where you want to be?
Yeah, you always have a 5-year roadmap, but let's be honest, the amount of pivots you take within that, you see opportunities within it. So if we're 6 months into a year, for example, and we've got a 12-month roadmap, and you see a small opportunity, you're going to have to take it. So for example, there might be changes in the market, there might be changes in mortgage products. Recently there was changes in off-plan finance, for example. So that previously wasn't a focus, but it may be a focus going forward because it creates an opportunity for us to help people with handover payments or off-plan finance, even pre-handover.
Yeah.
So yeah, we plan for 5 years. We know the territories we want to go to, but we understand that not everything goes to plan.
Yeah.
Having the understanding that to make the pivots quickly and seize opportunities is really important.
Yeah. Okay, cool. What about, so if there's someone watching this that's looking for, starting the process to look for a mortgage, what advice, apart from just call with you guys?
Yeah, I mean, that's an easy answer. Use holo.com. That's where we go to. We always say the Pepsi challenge. You can speak to your own bank, see how long it takes for them to respond to you. My view on it is when you're looking for a mortgage, the first thing you want to know is what's available and how much is it going to cost me. So on our platform, we tell you the rates, the cost of the full purchase, down payment, land department fee, agency fee, valuation fees, everything. Because you want to know, generally what happens is the first stage is you're on one of the portals, you say, I like that property at 3 million.
Right.
Now can I afford that property at 3 million? So they come off the portals and then they start looking for finance, if they're a finance buyer obviously.
Yeah.
With us, they can do that in a minute. They'll see exactly the cost breakdown and then they can go back to selecting that property. But of course, people have relationships with their own banks. There's other brokers out there that are more offline. There's other brokers that are digitally enabled as well. There's plenty of options, but we'd always give the Pepsi challenge that we do believe in the products that we offer and the service that we offer. I would definitely recommend going on our platform first because you're going to get the most diverse options.
Okay, yeah, cool, good one.
But make sure you can afford it. That's the number one thing. Don't sign Form Fs until you know exactly what it's going to cost you.
Do you see that quite a lot? Do people do that?
Unfortunately, yeah.
I see it in the off-plan market. I don't understand how people can buy a property and not even have the final payment, but even the third, fourth payment.
Yeah.
They don't have the money. It's unbelievable.
So with off-plan, I would always say that, first of all, circumstances change. So you might get an 80-20 payment plan. I mean, they don't really tend to do them anymore, do they? But
80-20, yeah.
So more
20-80.
Yeah, 20-80.
No.
So 20 down and then 80 on handover. Now, you don't know. We can tell you can get a mortgage right now.
But in 3 years.
But in 3 years, can you get that mortgage? I don't know. So you might be forced to sell at that point. So even with the current market, as you say, you've got payment plans. So how it works with off-plan, which would apply for yourself, is central bank caps it that you can go to a loan to value of 50%.
Okay.
Now it's up to the banks at what stage they're comfortable to lend against that 50%. Generally,
different developers.
Exactly. Generally, the development needs to be complete up to 30 to 50% before they'll even look at finance. Then you've got the consideration of how much you've paid. So let's say the stars align, the development's up to 50%, you've paid 50% finance, and then you've got another 50% before handover. The banks can technically step in at that point and finance that project if it's an approved project. So there are options. The problem with mortgages, it's not a problem, you just need to make sure that you tick all the boxes because there is so many variables. It's not like buying a property where, can I afford the down payment? Can I sign this contract? Yeah, we're good to go.
Yeah. Is it vacant? Does it have the size that we need?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas with the mortgage, it's are you employed? Are you self-employed? If you're self-employed, do you have audits? Do you not have audits? What's the loan amount? Do you have an office? Do you not have an office? So many variables that you need to
costs
understand.
For like overpaying and
exactly everything that you need to take into consideration. But generally, we do find that. So with us, for example, we have like a 95% approval rate. So anything that goes through our platform that we greenlight that goes to the bank, we have a 95% approval rate. In those situations where you are kind of forward thinking, can I finance this in 3-5 years? I'd always have 2 or 3 plans in place, mortgage being one, selling being another, and friends and family being a third option. Don't go into it thinking, right, I'm going to make this work. Because you might not be able to.
Yeah, that's definitely some good advice. I think too many people, I don't know if it's their agents pushing too hard or people, it's just like...
I don't want to comment on that.
No comment.
I think there is an element of that, unfortunately. And that goes back to the agents that are here for a year or 2 years.
Yeah.
You have a lot of good agents in this market, a lot of good off-plan agents, especially now. You've probably seen this over the years. When we started, there was probably 4,000 or 5,000 agents in the market, if that.
Max, yeah.
Now you've got 25,000 agents. The competition's harder. The good thing with competition is the level of service has to increase.
Yeah.
People have to make a difference. So you are finding that the levels of the agents and the depths that they go to help their customers is increasing. So you'd like to think now it doesn't happen as much, but we saw it quite badly 4 or 5 years ago from the aftermath of 2014-15 off-plan sales. where it would come to handover and they're trying to finance it, and you do a valuation, it comes in 50% the value. Just because of the timing in the market, you can't tell what timing in the market when handover takes place. But again, it's just super important to understand everything that could possibly happen.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think about the market right now? Where are you seeing it? I know that, again, we spoke about this at the start, no one really knows, but what are you seeing? And obviously you're involved in a big way, so what are you seeing?
I mean, if you look at the data, I mean, majority of transactions are off plan. You know, you're looking at like a 60-40 split approximately. Out of that 40% being secondary, that's our bread and butter. That's the market I love. The reason I love that market is it tends to be end users like us. You know, we both started families recently. Why are we buying homes? Now, our reason for buying homes is probably different to an investor. An investor's coming in to make money. Whereas with us, we've been here over 10 years, probably going to be here another 10 years. So we'll go through the ups and downs. And for me, it's just about bringing up a family in a home that I'm proud of. So my predictions going forward, I think that us as businesses will be okay in terms of pricing. We might see a bit of stagnation there. There's a lot of global factors we need to take into consideration that we probably cannot predict, and I wouldn't want to predict. Like I said earlier, I don't want to put a prediction on that, but I think if you're buying for the right reasons, it's not anything to be concerned about. If you are looking as a family, which is a lot of transactions that have taken place over the last 5 years, people that lived in apartments that then moved into villa communities, or people that said, you know what, during COVID, Dubai handled COVID very, very well.
This is a place I can see
UK never, for example. You know, UK is one of the top buyers in the Middle East. A lot of them have stayed here now and bought properties. So the reason for buying here is changing. And when end users buy properties, they tend to live in them longer. So you're not going to have flipping of properties, so availability of stock in these big areas like your Emirates Living, like your Dubai Hills. Stock does become a bit more scarce. There's no opportunistic investors anymore. There is a lot of them, obviously, but not as many. So you'll probably just see a bit of a stabilisation. I would love to see in the future where the market becomes stable. Where you look at the UK and, you know, there's panic in the UK, but it's 3%. It goes up and down by. You know, house prices they're not that volatile. Apart from 2008, the house prices go up by very little amounts. And it just makes it a lot easier for us as homeowners and home buyers.
Interesting. Where are you staying? Where did you buy?
So I bought in the Springs, which is really strange. I lived in Palm for 5-6 years. I had my son in 2020 in January. And then in March we went into lockdown.
I was going to say right at the
right at the start, and it was at that point that we launched Holo as well. We had new child, we'd just gone into lockdown, you couldn't walk your dog outside, so it was really, really difficult, and I thought, you know, we need to look at villa communities. So we rented for a year in Springs, and this is an area I never ever thought that I would want to live in, and I fell in love with it.
Really?
I love the community, the schools are fantastic for the kids. And so we rented for a year, had an opportunity to buy, used a fantastic agent, and he put up with me we talk about relationships, he put up with me for a long time before I bought the property, but it just shows perseverance. And again,
who was it? Shout them out.
Should I? It works for a company that doesn't work with us, so but no. Thomas Pashby. And do you know what, to this day I would always recommend him. He was fantastic. I say to the team, you know, we have a concierge team now that I mentioned. I'd always say if you're looking in the Springs, speak to him. He's very transparent, not pushy. These are the prices, is what I've got. Showed us a renovated one, an unrenovated one, so I can make the decision. It just made it so much easier. And he ended up getting us a fantastic unit with good terms. And I'll be honest, like I was panicking at that point because
what year was this?
So this would have been 2023, 24. It was a rented unit, and at that point I was like, is the market going to go up? Is it going to go down? Like, have we paid the right price? But you know, we've been very fortunate with that in terms of pricing, and you know, it's given me comfort right now, quite frankly, irrespective of the way the market's going. I'm really keen to get something else. I mean, we've got 3 kids now, so I moved into that when we had 2 at that point. I've got 3 kids now. We need to make a bit of an upgrade, and I've got no concerns about the way the market's going, what's going to happen. At that point I was, because I just started a business and I had my first child, but And again, it's down to your circumstances.
100%.
I think that's super important when you're looking at homes. And a good agent will understand that, and a good mortgage advisor will understand that as well.
Yeah.
So don't just say what you're looking for. Oh, you want a 2-bed in Springs? Get to know your customer.
Yeah.
Oh, your wife's pregnant. Excellent. I would advise maybe think ahead, because you might be having to.
Yeah.
These are things to factor in.
Yeah.